How will my exchange year be? Will I make friends? Will I get along with my host family?
I'm really on the ropes this time.
Am I going to miss my family and
All my
friends?
life for you.
Am I going to feel alone?
I never should have said goodbye, but maybe that's what stupid people do. 'Cause you gave me peace, and I wasted it. I'm here to admit.
Wait. Let's not make this video so emotional. At least yet. Hi, my name is Maria Amor. I am 17 years old and I am a 12th grade student or a second of bachelorette student in Jaume Alberas High School in Vilassar de Dalt. In the community of Catalonia, it is compulsory to create a research project during this grade. My research project is about Ontario, a Canadian province, and in it there is a part about exchange students. While I was completing my project, I realized that it was going to be really difficult to give an objective explanation about how an exchange year in Ontario can be. I thought that a good idea for completing this part could be asking other exchange students about their experiences. The 4 students that will appear in this video went to Ontario with the same organization, Redleaf, and with the support of the Amancio Ortega Scholarship Program. I hope this video helps you to understand how the Ontario school system is from the point of view of an exchange student. Also, I hope it helps you to understand that every single experience is unique and different.
Hello, my name is Irene Garciandia. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Barcelona. I did my exchange year in a small town called Clinton in Ontario, Canada.
Hello, my name is Albert. I am 17 years old. I currently live in a small town in the middle of Lleida. It's called Pradell de Sió, and I went for my exchange year to Brockville, Ontario, in the Upper Canada District School Board.
Hello, my name is Ana Rodes. I'm 17 years old. I live in Zaragoza, Aragon, and my exchange year was in London, Ontario, Canada.
Hi, as I said before, my name is Maria. I am 17 years old and I live in a pretty small town called Vilassar de Dalt near Barcelona. And I did my exchange year in London, Ontario.
Did you go to a big or to a small school?
I don't know if it was a big school. Like it was for me because it had like around 900 kids, and the school I go to here in Spain, Catalonia, whatever, has about 320 kids. So yeah, it was pretty big for me.
I went to a pretty big school compared to the one that I go to now. It had over 1,000 students probably. At the beginning, I got lost more than once trying to find my classes, but yeah, it was pretty big compared to the one that I go to in Spain.
I went to a big school compared to the one I go to in here, but supposedly for them it was a small school, so it had like around 500, 600 students.
And if I'm honest, I've been studying here in Spain in a school that used to be really, really small. So when I saw my school in Canada, I was shocked. It had like 3 floors, and it was kind of like a weird, like it was kind of a square in all of the 3 floors, so it was kind of easy to go around, but at the same time it was like the same thing again in every floor, but it was shocking.
What's the biggest difference between the Canadian school system and the Spanish school system? Personally, I feel like the Canadian school system is much more like stress-free than the Spanish one, because you only do 4 subjects at a time, so you have much more time to focus on one and like take it slowly, and yeah, I really like that, and I'm missing it a lot.
I feel that the biggest difference between Spain's school system and the school system in Ontario is that in Ontario you have like more freedom to truly discover what you like. In Spain, you basically have to follow like a path. You have to choose or science or social science or humanities or arts. While in Ontario or in Canada in general, you can choose classes from different subjects and fields. Like, for example, you can be, I don't know, doing a physics class, and at the same time, on the same semester, you can have a guitar class or you can have a fashion class. So, yeah, I feel that that's the biggest difference. You have more freedom to decide, probably.
I feel like the biggest difference is that the Canadian school system is way more practical, while I feel like here in Spain we study way more theory. And also the Canadian school offers a huge variety of classes, and you don't have to choose a path at that point of your life. You don't have to choose if you want to do sciences or arts. You can choose classes from all of them without limitations, and yeah, I felt like that was really cool.
When it comes to doing the stuff by yourself, in Spain you just need to study and what it says on the book, in the book. And in Canada, I think the teachers, they wanted you to actually know how to make the transition between what you study to how can you make it with your hands.
What was your favorite class in Canada?
Well, I'd have to say probably either physics or functions. Physics is still my favorite subject here.
So my favorite class in Ontario was definitely guitar class. I love music and I have a guitar at home, but I didn't know how to play it, and I found that it was like the perfect opportunity to learn. And that's how I learned to play guitar. And I don't know, the teacher was super nice. I had a lot of fun there.
My favorite class in Canada was art, and we got to do really cool stuff like painting, and we created a children's book. So
My favorite class, it was cooking, because I mean, come on, cooking. Like, we don't have such things in Spain. And also there was one called tech, in which you have to design something with a computer, and then you could make it and transform it to like wood. For example, you could do a table, you could design a table, and you could do a model, a small version of it, and it was so cool.
What would you apply from the Canadian school system to the Spanish system, and what from the Spanish to the Canadian?
And from the Canadian system, I would apply to the Spanish system. Specifically, that difference that I found the biggest one of not having to choose a specific path, because many people don't really have clear what they want to do in the future, and I feel like that limits us a lot when deciding what to do. So I would apply that to the Spanish system. And from the Spanish system to the Canadian, I did feel though like teachers there weren't very strict. Obviously it depends on the teacher, but generally I feel like they weren't very strict, and I feel like sometimes teachers should be a bit more strict, and like they are usually strict here. It's nothing to do with the school system, but it is with what is demanded from the students, and I feel like they're lots of times students would just be talking and not paying attention, and the teachers wouldn't say anything, so I would change that.
Okay, so as I said, the whole splitting into two kind of deal and just not having any stress, which at least with the coronavirus and stuff, like my high school is doing it, but only for the SO students, like not for bachelorette. And that's another thing I would change, because the whole university access, trials, exams, whatever, I wouldn't do them. like, well, not only do they like highlight the like make the already existing problem of 8 subjects at the same time much worse by just having to do 6 or 7 exams of all the things you've studied in a already cramped year into 3 days. But like people have bad days and stuff, and like in Canada, for like what I've learned from my friends, it just you send the university your marks in, like what you've been doing in class, and they'll say, oh, yeah, sure. And like I feel we could do that here. From the Spanish system to the Canadian, maybe like force students to make exams in pen. I found it weird that people could do the exams in pencil, and I didn't know that for like the first 2 months, so I just did all my exams in pen. And until a friend called me out on that, I was like, oh, thanks, that could have felt a while earlier, but I don't know, I wouldn't take anything from the Spanish system to the Canadian. I feel like the Canadian is already great as it is, and the Spanish system has a lot to improve on.
So I would probably apply to the Spanish school system what I said before, the fact that you have like more freedom to discover what you like. I would probably say that in Spain we have more discipline at class, so that's what I would definitely apply at high school in Ontario. Maybe having a little bit more of discipline, but that's the only thing.
What I would apply to the Spanish system from the Canadian one is the way teachers teach, the way teachers see the students. Because in Canada, once there was a teacher who told me, so I need you to write a review, or yes, like a review about me, about what you feel in my class, because you're my client. And that's what my teacher told me, and I was like, for real? And he was like, yes, you're using my services, and I want to know if you like what I'm teaching or not, and if you don't, I will change it. And I was shocked, because I was like, wow, you really care about us. I think in the Spanish school system, I think we finished the careers a little bit more prepared, because even though we don't get to experience everything as much as Canadians do, I think we learn more stuff. So I think we become more prepared to what the future gives us.
Was it difficult to make friends? I was really lucky in that aspect, because on the first day I asked some girls if I could sit with them at lunch, and they became my friends for the rest of the year. So for me, I was really lucky, so I didn't find it that hard to make friends.
I have to say that I was really, really lucky to find friends really quick. I basically made my best friends this school bus. We took the same school bus, and we sat together every day. And they were my neighbors, so it was easy to make plans with them and to hang out with them. But in school, I feel that in school was a little bit more different, because, you know, you're in class, you don't really necessarily have to be talking all the time at class. So I feel that it was a little bit more difficult.
For the first couple months, I was with all the international students. Well, not all. Like my school had about 90 international students. Half of them were Chinese, half of them were from around the world. So the Chinese grouped up in one group, and the other ones we grouped up. And yeah, I went out with them like a lot. They were super nice people. Still talk to them a lot, like nowadays. And just one day, some Canadian girl came up to me and said, "Hey, wanna come do an English project with me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And they kind of adopted me into their friend group, and I don't know, I thought that was really cute. Well, not cute, but like they came to me, which I found weird.
Another good point, it was if I had any difficulties making friends, and the answer is yes. In Canada, a thing that I always say when people ask me is that Canada was cold and the people there was also cold. It was easier when they knew that you were a foreigner and that you were like an exchange student, or that you were alone in the country. That was when it got easier to make friends.
Where was it easier to make friends? Canada.
I find for me it's easier to make friends here because I feel like there I had a harder time socializing, but because I feel more comfortable here and more secure. But yeah.
I feel like it's easier to make friends in Spain, especially at school, because Spanish schools are smaller. And when someone new comes, it's like, it's just new and you just want to know who it is. But in Canada or in Ontario, it's more difficult because schools are usually pretty big. And when someone new comes, it's like you don't really pay attention to them. So yeah, definitely it's easier to make friends in Spain.
How was your host family? So there was the mom, the dad, and then I had two sisters. One that was 1 year older, so she was 17, because at the time I went there I was 16, it was last year. And the other one was 15, so 1 year younger than me.
My host family, well, that's a whole other thing. It wasn't as I expected. The organization told us that it was going to be something just as similar as your family, and they were going to be as close, and they were going to care about you and get involved in everything you do. But my family didn't. I have to say that I really loved my host brothers. They were 8 and 10 years old, and I was in love with them. Oh, I miss them so much. I do not miss as much their parents, because we didn't kind of bond in that way, but it is what it is. Every case is different.
My host family was formed by a host mom, a host dad, a host brother, a host sister, and other relatives like my host grandparents, another host brother, a lot of other family. They were super nice from the first moment. They were there for me during all experience. And yeah, I really miss them, but they were super nice and I was really lucky.
They were wonderful. Yeah, really nice people.
Do you have any issues with them, and how did I find a solution?
I didn't have any problems with them. Wonderful people. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like, they've been doing the whole like host family thing for a lot of years, and like it shows. Like, with some other international students who I was talking to, they had like some trouble with their host family because it was like their first year or like something. But my host family, 10 out of 10.
I did have issues during a period of time with my host mom, because we didn't really get along and we didn't really understand each other a lot. So I would get like a bit pissed for some of the things she did. But how did we find a solution? I mean, I guess just time just went by and we just started accepting each other more, and we started getting along better. So it worked.
I experienced a lot of issues with the mother. There were more than with the father. I don't know. I don't know how to express my feelings regarding to her when it comes to her, because I didn't really enjoy my time with her, so I do not want to talk about it.
I didn't have any big issues with them, just small differences, but I was really, really lucky with my host family.
What is the most important learning that you extract from your experience?
I wasn't ready for that one. I should have seen it coming. I would say that I really learned to like just go at it, like just meet people, and you'll be surprised. Like, people are wonderful.
I would say that I extract two super important learnings. The first one is not to take anything for granted, especially with the situation that my partners and I had to live. The thing is that with all the coronavirus pandemic going on, our scholarship organization decided that we had to leave our host countries 3 months before expected. So it's like you plan everything, you know you want to do this, you want to go there, and in just 1 second everything changes. And it's like, maybe this sounds dramatic, but it's almost like if you lose everything. Obviously right now I look back and I think, well, it is what it is, you cannot change it. But at the moment it was really like traumatic, because you know, you lose everything you care about in just 1 second. So, and second learning, probably that time flies and that we should take more advantage of our time.
I think the most important learning is to risk things and not to be scared to ask about stuff and to try new stuff, because then you're not gonna take advantage of of your time. So I feel like that's the biggest learning that I learned.
Is that you always need to trust in yourself. You don't need to change the way you are. If someone doesn't like you, even if you're in another country, please don't try to impress others by changing the way you are. Please stay the same way and someone will suddenly like you.
How has the experience impacted your personality?
The person who left Canada was, it was the same person, it's me, Ana Rodes, but with a whole different kind of like feelings and thoughts and way of thinking. It's, please go on exchange year, do it.
I guess I'm much more open to like new people I meet, and like I'm just nicer to my friends, and like more willingly to help people out with like anything. Like
I feel that now I'm more adventurous, because you know, you go to a new place and you realize that if you don't go out from your comfort zone, you will not learn or you will not experience new things. So definitely I'm more adventurous than I was before my exchange year.
I think that it has made me way more resilient, because I used to, when I had like any problem before going on an exchange, I would be thinking about it all the time and giving it so much importance that it would end up bothering me like extremely, and that wasn't good for me. And after the exchange, I feel like now I just don't give as much importance to conflict and like problems, and I feel like now I just don't get so stressed and don't overthink that much. So I feel like that is how it has helped me the most. Would you recommend going on an exchange year to Ontario?
I would definitely recommend doing an exchange year in Ontario.
yes, if you can do it, wonderful. Highlight of my life so far.
I would definitely recommend going on an exchange year to Ontario.
Yes, I would totally recommend going on an exchange year, and to Ontario specifically too.
Happiest year of my life. Thank you for the happiest year.
In a nutshell, Ontario is a wonderful place for going on an exchange year.
Thank you for the happiest year of my life.
This has been a life-changing experience for all my partners and I.
Thank you for the happiest year of my life.
All of our experiences have been different, but we can all agree that Ontario is now our second home.